it's up to the board. Now it's up to the school board and Tuloso Midway to decide the fate of the superintendent. What do I mean by that? Well, the superintendent, his name is Rick Fernandez, is placed on administrative leave for tampering with the grades. And now it'll be up to the school board to decide the fate of the superintendent. Now, this was all back in July when the Texas Education Agency did a report and accused the school board of that 4-page report was sent out in favor of Tuesday night, and the Caller Times got that report, and let's see if they had that. The Caller Times got the report. The board presidency was not being able to talk about reasoning and leave a TA's investigation. And this is still a developing story. So now, the decision is now going to be awaited for the Board of Education. So, here's Ashley Gonzalez with the story.
Fate of the Tuloso Midway School District Superintendent. Board members this evening were scheduled to make a decision on whether the superintendent will keep his duties or not after allegations of fixed grades and favoritism. Our Ashley Gonzalez was there for the meeting, and she has the very latest in tonight's top story.
The TM school board meeting started Wednesday evening. You may remember, it was back in July when the board placed Superintendent Dr. Rick Fernandez on paid administrative leave. They did so with little explanation. The TEA launched an investigation into the Tuloso Midway Independent School District over allegations of grade tampering. 3 News obtained state documents that show 4 students, including the child or children of a board trustee, had, quote, an unfair advantage involving a non-district PE course that was not offered to other students in the district, end quote. Parents voiced their concerns.
What's going on? Why they're not letting us know, the problems that are going on in the school instead of hearing from somebody else, because third person can add up something else.
The state investigation alleges that 1,200 grades were changed without proper authorization in fall of 2020.
I have a junior right now. She's like on the cusp of top 10. She wasn't given the opportunity 9th and 10th grade to take those classes. And somebody else comes along and is taking all these classes, supposedly, and then all of a sudden they jump.
Now, it is up to the school board to decide the next move for Dr. Fernandez. Ashley Gonzalez, 3 News.
And so far, there's been no decision. And so far, there's been no decision that has been reached at 10:25. They remain in executive session, which began at 6:11. So what is going on? A company and break investigation will help out sort out the problems. We now know that those 4-page documents is now at the hands. We now know that it was Rick who decided to tamper with the grades, and one of the board of trustees board members playing favorites. Those board members would either have to sit there and you can't be playing favorites. So here's Seth Kovar with the new development.
So much for joining us tonight. I'm Pat Simon.
And I'm Dr. Diarte. We do begin tonight with the latest developments out of the Tuloso Midway ISD. We have been keeping a close watch on the fate of the superintendent there, Rick Fernandez, and that was expected to be decided tonight.
It was in mid-July when Fernandez was placed on leave a few days before the Texas Education Agency announced it was investigating Tuloso Midway ISD for grade tampering. Our Seth Kovar joins us now live outside Toloso Midway ISD Administration Building. And Seth, still no word on whether Dr. Fernandez will keep his job.
Yep, no word, Pat. Still, they went into closed executive session around 6:11 to be exact tonight, and they haven't come out since. But photographer Jay and I aren't the only ones to stick around. Check this out. That's a couple of parents, and down the hallway, a number of school employees. The school board closing in on 4 hours of debate among themselves, and prior to that, no new details on just how we got here. A brief round of applause for concerned Toloso Midway ISD parent Cindy Gonzalez.
I'm crossing my fingers. I really liked Dr. Fernandez.
The future of Superintendent Rick Fernandez was the only order of business at tonight's special called school board meeting. Gonzalez and fellow concerned parent Sylvia Henderson were the only speakers during public comments. Both of them called on the board to be more transparent about why Fernandez was suspended with pay in July and facing a possible firing tonight.
I just want to know basically the investigation results. If he was right what he did, and basically the truth.
I would be okay if they fired a teacher for doing something wrong. I mean, anybody. But if he didn't, then why is he not allowed to do his job? And if he did, you need to show us the proof.
Fernandez's suspension came days before the Texas Education Agency announced they were investigating TMISD for possible grade tampering. But the board wouldn't answer Gonzalez and Henderson's calls for more information, saying only they can't comment on pending investigations. The two parents say they'd be okay with Fernandez's firing if he was in the wrong, but they hope that's not the case and he can keep his job.
He's very forward, innovative, or he wants to take our district to a different level, which is what we need.
Now, almost 4 hours of waiting for the school board to come back from executive session gave me lots of time to talk to TMISD staff members, teachers, and parents. They tell me that these meetings have a habit of going until almost midnight sometimes, so when a decision does come down on the superintendent's future, we'll be here and we'll let you know. Reporting in Corpus Christi, Seth Kovar, Chris 6 News.
Still waiting on an important decision. Okay, Seth, thank you so.
No word yet. But when that comes, Friday comes, I will be here to talk about it. And I spoke with Ashley Gonzalez before, saying what's going to happen now, and now we know what's going to happen. It's going to be up to the board to decide on what's going on. When we come back, teen pregnancy. What you need to talk to your child about before they get pregnant. And later, Flower Bluff ISD is now going to do its clear bag policy, which is a copy and paste of what CCISD is doing. Will other schools do this? Later. Before we move on to our next topic, I want to let you know that John W. White is the Assistant Superintendent for Leadership and Learning. He released a statement on Thursday afternoon back in July saying, has been placed on administrative leave of pay. Any further employment action will be determined by the school board at this time. We cannot comment on further matters. What does he have to say now? We still don't know, but again, we'll let you know on Friday. Parents, have you ever had your serious talk with your teens about teen pregnancy? After watching an episode of Dr. Phil, it's like, who's going to raise the baby? Now, this was 10 years ago, this was like 10, 11 years ago when they decided to, when Dr. Phil went to talk to parents, I'm not going to name any names, 6 people involved. One side was the parents of the teen girl, and the other side was the teen girl, the husband, the 18-year-old, and the father. Now the mom threw her out of the house saying, okay, what's it going to be like? I mean, how it all started was they got drunk. So thing is, I mean, if you're a teen if you're hooking up with your teen, like you're still going to school and all, but if you decide to have kids during school hours, then it's a huge responsibility. If you're going to have another human being in this world, you have to realize that you're going to have a commitment. And to be honest with y'all, I'm glad that I did not get someone pregnant years ago when I was in school, and thank goodness I did not. Because if I did, we would have had a very serious, long talk about this issue. Jeez. So in the end of the episode, it was they took parenting classes, so and so. The daughter's back and try to accept him for who he is. But the question still remains: how can you talk to your kids? How do you talk to your teen girls about pregnancy? Here are some 10 tips from Psychic Central to help you as a parent understand. Keep calm and keep the old adage, keep calm, carry on. When you hear such shocking news, try not to react. Keep your mouth closed. Don't say a word. Count to 10. Take a deep breath. And only 10 when the initial wave of anger is mostly past talk. Sorry. If you do talk, you have to try to stay calm as possible. Even your gut is churning and you want to scream, the situation is about you. It's about your daughter. Focus on trying to understand how she's feeling right now. Let her know that you are there for her, even inside if you're still angry. There's plenty of time for you to deal with emotions later. Show that you are there for her. Ask her to walk you through what happened and how she feels about it. This will give her the opportunity to cry, vent, and allow her fears to come out. It also gives you wrong information, so don't start jumping to their conclusions. Find out if the father knows and the parents know. You may feel very angry toward him in this moment. Try not to vilify him, making him the enemy could cause a rift that becomes impossible to reconcile. Help her understand that she's very young and making quick decisions might not be the best thing to do right now. Young minds don't have experience of knowing what life can be like as an adult. You have the chance to give her some honest advice, but try not to condensing with the information. Don't try to force your views on what she could do with her pregnancy. Take some time to consider the options available to her and seek professional guidance if you can, like Dr. Phil. If she decides to keep the baby, planning ahead is critical. The hardest part will come after the birth. Your daughter is still with the father, then what? What will the baby's last name be? Where will they live? Can you open your home to them? Will she go back to school? Who will look after the child if she does? How will they cope with financially? Managing so many decisions become overwhelming and create relationships apart, especially two young people trying to suddenly become responsible adults. Take this one step at a time, each day. Go from carefree teen to expect a mother can be very stressful at times. Your daughter might seem immature and want to do silly teenage things like drinking. Try not to use that as an excuse to vent your frustration. Both of your hopes and dreams may be now gone. Both of your futures may be different, but it doesn't mean life will be worse. Life can people come to be surprising, and you might actually find being a grandparent a great experience, even if it's sooner than hoped. The reality is, nobody knows the outcome of the moment. You're both standing at crossroads in your lives, and nobody can predict. The best thing to do is say so, but your daughter will need your support. However, it's so important that you get the support you need to help navigate this tricky time. I mean, you've got to learn to be calm. I mean, you start getting angry, the blood pressure is going to go up. So just try to be calm about it and try to deal with things one step at a time. Like, how did this happen? So, in the case of those two people who were Dr. Phil back in 2011, it started out with them getting drunk and having sex. That's how it all started. That's another topic for next week, because we're going to be dealing with teen problems. So, this is my advice to you guys. You've been doing stupid things. It's not right. If your daughter is pregnant, it's best that you don't overreact. You gotta keep calm and simply say, you know what? I'm going to be with you every step of the way, no matter what. Together, we can get through this. Alright, when we come back, it's all about the clear back policy made by the NFL. Two school districts are copying it. One of them and our new one is copying Flower Bluff. Hear what I have to say after the break. Before we move on to our clear bag policy, let's go into our COVID. Let's go over to see what the action was in COVID today. 59% had at least one dose of the population. 15.9 million have been fully vaccinated. 17.3 have had at least one dose. That's 55.3% of the population in the state of Texas. In the United States, 31 million doses have been given. 185 million have been fully vaccinated. And 56.4 have been fully vaccinated of the population. 55 in Texas, 16 have been fully vaccinated, and 33.3 million doses have been given. What about the data? What about the data? Let's start by looking at Nueces County. As of now, September 28th, there's been 84 cases. On the 7-day average is 85. 59,963. We can close to 60,000 plus 84. Now we're at 60,000. Over 1,100 deaths. We're about to go to 1,200. State of Texas, 4.4 million, 198. 64, over 64,000. About to go into 65,000. Tests, 1.3 million tests been taken. Positive tests 125, positive 9.1. Hospitalization 76,000, 21,000 ICU. And again, vaccinations 59.7 and 55.1. Schools. Let's check out the daily reported cases every day. So, by looking at the spreadsheet, we can determine. So, we're about to go into the end of the month. So far, Wednesday, there's been 0. And one ECC student has been tested positive for COVID. So that's good. And right now, we're still under stage 2. Which is a good thing. We gotta keep going. We gotta make sure we're doing the right thing possible. Masks at the ridge of the nose, not under the nose. Also, washing the hands, social distancing, 6 feet or more. Make sure you sanitize your area at all times with disinfectant wipes. And if your school does not have bottled water, you're free to donate bottled water to your local school district. At your local school, you'll help them provide with bottled water because of those new water fountain machines. Also, if your child's an issue with the mask, then tell them it's okay, because as we said before, this lady said there's no studies possible for children have gotten COVID. Not from one person, but we'll see what happens. If your child's a medical condition, your child's under 2, no mask. If you have a medical condition, you let them know beforehand you have a medical condition like asthma. Now to our clear bag policy. This is what I got the latest from yesterday. See if I can find it. Ah, perfect. Told you a little Facebook search would go. Now, the Fly Bluff ISD is now in a clear bag policy. Hornet Sports released an article, and this is going to go into effect in a couple days. All spectators standing held in pen, including football stands, baseball stands, mandatory required to follow this procedure. Clear plastic, not exceed 12 by 6 by 12, no more than one logo in the clear bag. And the procedure is, questions, will the bag be clear stick as well? Yes, to be expected. Procedure apply to all forms of facilities, football, baseball, softball, gymnasiums, etc. What happens if a guest shows up at the gate that's not permitted? Will not be allowed to enter the venue, will not bring back, asked to move on the vehicle. Small clutch personnel prohibited. Persons lower than are not permitted. All bags will be inspected. Fans being stadium seats, sit backs. There are probably own stadium seats, sit backs, diaper bags. Exception to be made for diaper bags. Mobile phones, tablets. Yes, phones, cameras be carried by hand. Cases are prohibited. medical equipment, exception we made if medically necessary for proper inspection. The blanket will be inspected at the gate. The type of bags carried in a venue, like you're referred to carry on, is like jacket, like keys, makeup, comb, phone, wallet, credit card, etc. Choose not to place it in the bag or clutch. This comes after the NFL created its own policy. This was created from years ago. This was back in specifically 2013. It was to help them to get stuff done, get them done safely. I mean, they copied it off they copied it off in the NFL. That was back in 2015, so this was over 6 years ago. Music events follows suit. The goal is to keep everyone safe and speed up the security protocols when entering the venue. I think they just copied and pasted the policy, not without the permission of the NFL. They just basically, it's a copy and paste thing. Got a couple days going into this, and I expect the board to watch this segment and say, we made a mistake. We gotta fix it. The board will not approve of it because you don't have proper training. You may have schools officers, all that kind of stuff, but those people are trained to look for stuff. I mean, you gotta train them. That's just how it is. You gotta train them. But how strict is it? There's new rules. All bags, purses, or backpacks 4.5 by 6.5 represent the football stadium, allow you to bring your belongings in your pockets. In a clutch the size of your hand. And now school districts are doing the same thing, like CCISD and Florida Bluff. And I hope that no one else copies off the policy. That's a form of plagiarism. Be back in a moment. Friday, I'm going to report to you live outside the Hornet Stadium to outside the volleyball stadium and the football stadium to see how this will go in place by asking people these questions. So look for that on Friday. Look for that in a couple days. Because it's all about safety and security. That's all it is. Thank you. I'll see you Friday. Have a good night.